Peace. This is Ayrat, digital marketing specialist, also specialist in some other areas, and enthusiast in even more areas. There are some statements about Google Tag Manager, which I heard a lot at the beginning of my career, but they are not always true. Maybe sometimes, but not always. So these statements perceived like false. Now I want to warn other beginners about them, or even not beginners. I will tell about two, but they may be more, of course. Write in comments if you had some other disappointments too. Before exact 2 points, want to tell some not that disappointment. For most people, Google Tag Manager is not easy to understand from first try. Why it's not a disappointment for me? It's a sad thing but not disappointment because I understood this thing from first moments of working, from first moments of learning Google Tag Manager. And this is a thing that you need to accept, and it will be easier for you to go through. Actually, it's not only Google Tag Manager. Many things are not easy to understand from first look. Google Tag Manager among them. Maybe for some easy, but not for most. First warning is that they say it was often told me that when you put Google Tag Manager into your website, Google Tag Manager container root tags into your website code, then you don't need to change anything in your website code. You can do everything through Google Tag Manager for measuring. Maybe for other things you need to change, but for measuring, you don't need to change. But real reality is that it's not always like that. I had cases where we will still need to make changes in website code, even after adding Google Tag Manager container, Google Tag Manager tags into website. Still needed to make some changes in code. One example may be data layer for e-commerce tracking. Someone may say that it's possible to make data layer through Google Tag Manager, possibly, but here is question why to do that way. I think it's easier and more efficient to make through website code. Thank you for watching. Main video will continue after this insert. English is not my native. If you see something to correct me, welcome, but do it in a respectful and polite manner and with enough explanations and proof. If you do data layer through Google Tag Manager, it has to have special reasons. In my opinion, it's easier to make data layer from website. From this point, what you need to understand is that even after adding Google Tag Manager tags into website code, sometimes you may need to make changes in website codes anyway for measuring. Next point is more direct to code. I was often told that to work with Google Tag Manager, you don't need a programmer. Unfortunately, it's not 100% like that. To work with Google Tag Manager in whole capacity of it, you need to understand in code at least a little bit. So you better have a programmer or be a programmer yourself. I'm not, by the way, I'm not a programmer, but I understand a little bit of code because it's needed. So to get full potential of Google Tag Manager features, you need a programmer, or you need to understand at least a little bit in code. Of course, if you a programmer or have a programmer who helps you, you can do more than just knowing a little bit about code. If you don't know about code even a little bit, for example, to put into your website code, to put Google Tag Manager tag into your website code, you ask the programmer, but then you don't have programmer and you don't know even a little bit in code. For this situation, if you don't understand in code even a little bit, I think you still can work with Google Tag Manager, but only with very, very, very few features. And even without coding, knowing algorithmic thinking, even if you don't know code, but you have algorithmic thinking, this will make your Google Tag Manager experience way more easier, way more faster. Thank you. Hope these warnings will help you to be less disappointed and make it easier to you to accept and learn Google Tag Manager and use it for good. Thank you for watching. Make peace, make mutual wealth. Peace.